Welcome to my colorful studio. I like to be decorative. This is just a small view of a place like a museum. But anyways, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about William Jennings Bryan in the Scopes Monkey Trial of 1925, and it was in Dayton, Tennessee, and that was between Clarence Darrow and William Jennings Bryan. Bryan being the prosecutor, and this trial set forth a precedent in future legal battles between fundamentalist Christians, science, the role of Christianity in public schools, the whole 9 yards. But there was a teacher by the name of John Scopes who was teaching evolution in the high school he was at, and that they brought charges up against him that he is violation of the Butler Act, and so that went to trial there. And anyways, it was a fundamentalist battle between the fundamentalist Christians and the modernists that were in favor of a more scientific look at the Bible, school, etc. Anyways, Darrow was well known within the legal battles, his previous legal battles over workers' rights, freedom of speech, and just put him into the education freedom battle. And many of the other people who were in favor of separation of church and state used the Thomas Jefferson's famous wall of separation between church and state. And anyways, the role of religion was challenged, and they went to court. It was a heated battle. It was a heated battle between Bryan and Darrow. Bryan being staunch, proponent of the Bible and Christianity being taught in school. Darrow used his own strength against him. Now, a lot of people you hear the whole saying, your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness. Well, William Jennings Bryan Darrow used a couple of Bryan's weaknesses, strengths against him as a weakness. William Jennings Bryan was a very emotional, fiery, debater. He was somebody that was very passionate, and he was also very passionate about the Bible and about traditional biblical philosophy. Now, he's a fundamentalist Christian, and that's where Darrow used it against him. So he goes and says, "Hey, William Jennings Bryan, you are an expert on fundamentalist Christianity, and you're an expert on the Bible. You're well read on the Bible. Why don't we have you take the stand as an expert witness?" Well, William Jennings Bryan was kind of proud. He's like, yeah, I am. I'm an expert. And he used that against him, his ego, too. The judge didn't want it. He knew that was going to be a mistake. The one thing that William Jennings Bryan lacked was he was not a classically trained biblical scholar. He was a lawyer, but he really was not trained to engage that sort of debate. And I believe Darrow actually knew that, and he got him. So he got William Jennings Bryan to take the stand, and he questioned him. I'm reading off this because it's a little bit wordy, but William Jennings Bryan said, was questioned by Darrow. Darrow said, "Does the second day mean anything to you?" Well, William Jennings Bryan was like, "Yes," and William Jennings Bryan stood by and Clarence Darrow, says to him, so does that necessarily refer to a 24-hour day? He asked Jennings Bryan, does that, refer to a 24-hour day? And William Jennings Bryan said, not necessarily. He's like, oh, not necessarily. So then Darrow went on to say, okay, and he quoted the Bible saying, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening the morning were the second day. And Darrow said, does that mean a 24-hour? Went back and forth with William Jennings Bryan saying, not necessarily. He's getting riled up, and then William Jennings Bryan's saying, Clarence Darrow is, saying, but you're contradicting yourself. So, you're using the same reasoning that people who are, the modernist. You're using a modernist thought on this, that the Bible's not literal word for word. So a fundamentalist is somebody who is the Bible is exactly what it says. It's the truth, right? Whereas that's a fundamentalist. But a modernist, in contrast, it can be interpreted. Did Jonah really get swallowed by the whale? That kind of thing. Was the world created in 7 days? That kind of thing. Did Moses really, part the Red Sea? That kind of thing. So he's like, you're using the same reasoning. You're saying, well, obviously, that's not what the Bible, really meant when about the whole deal with and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And he's like, so that he got him in a handcuff there, intellectually, verbally, and you could, like I said, the crowd could see the judge could see a very distressed, angry, frustrated William Jennings Bryan. And the judge ended up throwing out William Jennings Bryan. But anyways, William Jennings Bryan looked so bad on the stand, the judge actually threw his testimony out. Because he knew that if he had to include that testimony in the actual, trial, that it would actually end up in favor of Clarence Darrow and the traditionalist and, John Scopes. So, anyways, John Scopes was actually found guilty in violation of the Butler Act. And evolution was still banned for years in Tennessee and other public schools. But in the eyes of the public, it was a loss. And it really was. I mean, it was an embarrassing, lopsided loss for the fundamentalists, for William Jennings Bryan. That this whole hearing set a precedent in the future for more challenges to fundamentalist Christianity, their role in public schools teaching, and a further, I believe, a further inclusion of science in the public schools, which now public schools are pretty much secular. Careful for what you wish for. If you go back and look at the Baptists who enlisted Thomas Jefferson to be their representative when they felt their rights were infringed, and they wanted the separation. They thought this is brilliant, separate a wall of separation between church and state. And I do believe that if you went back in time and you got those Baptists there at that what was it again? It was at the Danbury. It was a Danbury Baptist Association of Danbury. Give me credit for getting that one off the cuff. Okay, I've got some notes here, but I actually don't have that written down. But yeah. But anyways, when Jefferson was addressing them, I think they thought this is great. Bro, we're gonna win, right? And again, though, that can come back like a boomerang. Maybe centuries later, could be another year, 10 years later. But I do believe that they would have not liked how that was used in the future, since those guys back in 1802, the Danbury Baptists would have been very staunch modernist. So Jefferson, on the other hand, I believe he felt that way. He really did. Jefferson was not a fundamentalist. Jefferson was very much. He even went so far, Jefferson, that he would cut out. He took a Bible and actually took a knife, sharp knife, and cut out everything he thought was bullcrap. Like if he, Jonah's whale kind of thing. But he basically would decipher what he saw as, rational logic within the Bible and stuff that just didn't make scientific sense. So Jefferson, on the other hand, would be A-okay with this. But again, like I said, interesting. The Scopes Monkey trial. William Jennings Bryan, read up on him. Interesting guy, particularly, in his, campaign for president. Really like that era of history. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you. U.S. Air Force salute to you. And the Fight Bill thing, I run auctions live on various social networking platforms. And the fight thing I do has nothing to do with that man back there, although I'm glad he's going to be our president. I don't care if anybody's offended. But I've been doing that during my auctions because I used to fight professional. And so I've been using my father's fight bill. My father gave this to me before he passed away. This was used at the Charleston Civic Center. Also, I was going to say something else and I forgot. Talking about the separation of church and state and all. I attended several colleges in the past. This was given to me by a missionary 30 plus years ago. This ended up in a debate when I was in school. And the deal was that it was questioned. It didn't get past the department. The department said, he can wear that. He has a freedom of expression. That was kind of where it went on. But I actually had people, several people that didn't like my political views and saw that I was wearing these and went after me and said, hey, he shouldn't be wearing, because I wear them. There's pictures of me. I looked at a picture of myself at Liberty University 30 plus years ago, and I'm wearing these. There's pictures of me from 20 years ago, and I'm wearing these. I wear these every day, and they remind me to pray. They remind me to go to God. I touch them, I pray. It's a reminder, kind of like people having a rubber band on their wrist and they're click, click, click. Or I wear this POWMIA band to remind me of the sacrifices my brothers and sisters have made. But I actually had a religious challenge over that. So there you go. The battle still goes on right here. So you wanted some imagery. There you go. There. So got imagery in this. Anyways, guys, love you all. U.S. Air Force salute. And fight, fight, fight.